Thank you. Under recognitions and awards, I'm looking for the proclamation. Okay, under recognitions and awards, we have a proclamation for Welcoming Week. And let me read it. Next week, whereas next week we celebrate Welcoming Week as a way of creating home together with communities around the world. Welcoming Week is about bringing neighbors together across lines of difference to build relationships and work together on shared goals. During Welcoming Week, I invite all residents of Austin to join this movement by taking action in the spirit of unity across differences, and whereas Austin is home to people of all backgrounds, including those who were not born here but now call it home. Austin's success depends on making sure that all residents feel welcome. New residents are a vital part of our community, along with our longtime residents, bringing ideas, starting businesses, serving in civic roles, working in critical industries, and contributing to the vibrant diversity that we value. And whereas to capitalize on diversity as an asset of our community, we must strive to create a culture and policies that ensure everyone can belong and thrive. That includes addressing disparities, countering hate, understanding history, and helping neighbors come together. And whereas, regardless of where we were born or how we identify, we are residents of Austin, and our lives are interdependent. Let us come together to build communities where every resident has the opportunity to continue his or her best. Let us come together to create more prosperous communities and to reaffirm that Austin stands as a beacon of freedom and opportunity. And whereas we call on our residents to reach across lines of difference and participate in one or more of the Welcoming Week events in Austin, I also call on business leaders, civic groups, government agencies, and community institutions to undertake their own initiatives along with the Human Rights Commission beyond Welcoming Week to make Austin a more welcoming place for new and long-term residents alike. Now therefore I, Thomas A. Steve, Mayor of Austin, do hereby proclaim September 12th through September 20th as Welcoming Week 2020. And I don't know where the hard copy of that is, but we'll make sure that the Human Rights Commission gets a copy of that.
Sarah Karki is with us.
Sarah, me and Jeff did a little welcoming on Saturday or Sunday
Sunday.
at the Liberian. They were installing new officers. It was so much fun. Okay, so with that, we will move.
Sarah Karki from the Human Rights Commission is on the Zoom meeting.
Sarah, are you here? Are you on the thing? Sarah Karki?
I'm here.
I see you. We will get you the hard copy of that if you want to stop in. I think Ann will have, Ann, can you have a copy of it? If you want to stop in, either that or we can send it over to you.
And I think she has.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll stop by.
And you want to address the issue for us?
Well, thank you so much for the declaration. And I just wanted to touch base on some of the many activities we have coming up for Welcoming Week. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different this year with COVID, but we have a couple of in-person events, including the park cleanup on Saturday, this September 12th at Rotary Park. So at 9 a.m., we'll get together for a socially distanced park cleanup. Then on Monday, we have the book club that Human Rights Commission has been doing. So we'll talk about America for Americans. And then the Austin Public Library has a book series all month. So every Thursday for the rest of September, they've got some great discussions. And that will be live in person outside on the library lawn. Riverland is going to have their signature event, Immigrant Voices, Immigrant Stories, but that will be virtual. And they're also looking at doing another event where students can talk about their experiences of being welcomed and what we can do to be more welcoming, especially in this era of racial tension. We're going to have some virtual business tours, so we won't get to go in person this year, but we'll try to talk with some of the business owners and share videos on the Human Rights Commission Facebook page. And we will also have a story stitch circle. So we did this in person last year, but we're going to try it virtually. And that's just a great opportunity to get to connect with your neighbors through conversation. So we're going to do that on Zoom. So we've got a lot of great events coming up. And thank you so much to our community partners who are helping to organize all of these things.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. It should be a lot of fun. And where can people find this information if they're sitting at home and they haven't been writing it down as you're talking about it? Where would they find these events?
We're going to send out a press release later this week, so it should make it to the paper, and then we'll have it on the Human Rights Commission Facebook page as well.
Okay, thank you. Mike, you got that, right? Okay, thank you. Then we'll move on. Number 4, we need a motion for the consent agenda. Need a
So
motion?
moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin, Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Under public hearings, we have a resolution reviewing a tax abatement application from Bigelow and Lennon Construction. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mayor and members. We've received an application for tax abatement. This project is at 1907 13th Avenue Northeast. The estimated project value is $335,000. It's in conformance with our adopted tax abatement policy. Council action is requested to approve it, and this is a public hearing.
Council, any questions or comments? If not, this is a public hearing. There's nobody here, but I see a bunch of people's names up there. Is anybody here wish to weigh in on this? If not, we need a resolution to approve or deny.
So move the resolution to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert?
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Under petitions and requests, 6 is a motion authorizing the yard waste program for 2020, scheduled for September 19th to November 29th, 2020. Mr. Lang.
Yes, we do this each fall, identifying one central location for all residents to drop off their leaves, compost, and yard waste. It's been at the former Cook Farm site or the new Creekside Business Park. This year, the dates that we have identified, as the mayor indicated, are beginning September 19th and running through November 29th. This is for residential property owners to drop off again their yard waste. And we do not allow sticks or branches to be dropped off at the site. But we do also provide garbage cans for plastic bags. We request that people remove their leaves from the plastic bags, and we provide garbage cans for that. With that, we request council approval.
Council, any questions or comments? We do this every year. Great program.
Is it still okay for me to drop my sticks and twigs off in Dankert's yard?
Yeah, okay, what's your put his address in the paper tomorrow, we'll all take him over there. Okay, if there's no more questions, we need a motion for number 6.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 7 is a resolution setting public hearing for fall assessments on October 5th, 2020. Ms. Gazel?
Yes, this would be for our fall assessment hearings. This would be for snow, junk removal, weed and grass mowing, administrative citations, hazardous housing, a lot of those nuisance type assessments that we do. So the notice will be going out to the property owners in the next couple weeks, and they will be notified of the public hearing on October 5th.
Council, do you have any questions or comments? If not, we need a resolution for number 7.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 8 is a motion authorizing mowing reductions in the Park and Recreation Department. Mr. Nelson.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council. As per discussion at the last work session, there are a number of properties, 10 of them listed here, and they would all revert to non-mowing status with the exception of number 2 would go back to the adjacent property owner, and number 5 would revert to the property owner as well.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions on this? Oops. Or comments?
Kevin, did we ever figure out how much we're gonna save on this?
Nothing.
No, Councilmember Baskin, we have not calculated that.
I don't know so much that it's gonna save a bunch of money as we just have too much work for the people there, right? We're gonna save money by not hiring people to do it, because that's about the only way we'd get it done, isn't
What's
it?
the total acreage, you know?
Of this,
Yeah, the ones we're not gonna mow anymore.
I don't have that calculation in my head, but I'm guesstimated to be in the 20 to 30 acre range.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Then we need a motion for number 8.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 9 is resolution authorizing an agreement with the DCA to administer the Small Business Relief Program. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mayor, members. This is the program that we've talked about that piggybacks on Malheur County's efforts. This would provide up to $10,000 for businesses to cover their rent, payroll, mortgages, utility bills, and other added operational expenses due to COVID. We're assigning this similarly to Malheur County. This would only be for Austin businesses, of course, and those that meet the prioritization standards that we outline. We don't anticipate that we'll have funds for everyone that applies, but try to do as many as we can for the $200,000 that we dedicated towards the program. The DCA has generously agreed to be the host to help process these applications. One structural question that we have from you that we didn't talk about at the last meeting was, I guess in talking with Mr. Gary, we would prefer to have applications be based off those that have already been submitted under the Malheur County program, so there wouldn't be another application open period, that we would just use those applications already submitted to Malheur County. So if council feels like we want to open it up to a new application process, we'd have to delay award of those so that he can process the Malheur County applications first and close those out before we move on to Austin only. Otherwise, we would just go ahead and fulfill those that are Austin specific for the grant application from previously submitted ones from Malheur County. Otherwise, that's all we need, and DCA would be our agent, so we need to approve that agreement working with the Development Corporation of Austin. Mr. Gary is on the line as well and can answer or add anything that I forgot to mention.
Council, do we have any questions?
Laura has her hand up.
Laura?
So, Craig or maybe John, Gary can comment on this, but did the initial round with the county get so many applications that you know everyone won't be served with the county money? So that's essentially what we're doing, is just picking up the applications where the county ran out and the city will fund those?
Craig, I'll jump in here. We're still sorting through the applications because some people who applied are not eligible for various reasons. But I think we have about 120 Malheur County small business applications once we get sort through all of them. And the county's funds are up to $10,000 per business, and they have $750,000 designated for small businesses. So rough guess would be about 80 of the 120 small businesses, this is countywide, would get a grant from the county funds. And these are just kind of best guesses right at this point. So then you'd have about 40 unfunded. About 55 to 60% of the applications are from Austin. So my math would put, you're probably looking at about, 25 to 30 Austin-based businesses in the application pool that didn't get funded by the county dollars. So 200,000 up to $10,000 grants would put you at taking care of, if you're following this, Laura, and I'm so glad you're nodding your head. Probably another 20 to 22 funded, leaving maybe like 5 to 10 out of the grants from those who have already applied.
So what I'm hearing you say is the county couldn't cover everybody who applied, and the city money is going to be needed, and even then we might be a little short of covering every application.
That's correct.
Exactly.
Okay, so this sounds like a really great idea, and I don't see why we would open up the window again. Just out of curiosity, no particular reason, how are the nonprofit numbers looking? Will they all be funded?
No particular.
The funding there is 250,000, and we have 41 applications, and it's up to 10,000. That said, some did not request the full 10,000, and there might be a little more leeway there in how the county awards those dollars. So somebody who requested 10,000 may get less than 10,000.
That answer your question? Okay, anybody else? Rebecca, did you have a question? I thought I saw your hand up. No? Anybody else? Any more questions? Okay, if not, we need a resolution for number 9.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 10 is a resolution awarding a contract for building demolition at 509 South Main Street. Mr. Lang.
Earlier this summer, council approved acquisition of this property at 509 South Main. Following acquisition, with council approval, we completed asbestos abatement of the property, and now we are ready for demolition. So we took bids on that, requested prices from 4 contractors, and received 2 bids, with the lowest bid being Hanson Hauling and Excavating in the amount of $9,466. You can see at the bottom of the memo, it details the cost breakdown for comparing the planned budget to actual costs, and looking at originally our goal was for a 50-50 grant between the DNR and local option sales tax, but with the final cost of the project, we're looking at about 48.5% coming from the DNR grant and 51.5% coming from local option sales tax. This is the last item as part of this property acquisition and this overall project here at 509 South Main. So we would recommend awarding this bid to Hanson Hauling and Excavating.
Council, any questions or comments? If not, we need a resolution for item number 10.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Dankert?
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 11 is a resolution approving amendment number 6 to the Turtle Creek Flood Control Project. Once again, Stephen?
We've been working on the Turtle Creek Flood Control Project since 2013, and through that time frame, we've had multiple amendments for the project, and the funds for the project have gone to more than just the flood control that we did here in recent years, but it's gone toward multiple property acquisitions. It's gone toward the design and development of the project, and then working our way through the construction that was completed the last 2 years. So in order to bring us to an end point and fulfill kind of the construction obligations, we've requested a grant amendment in the amount of $80,550 to, and also an extension of the completion date on this grant to June 30th of 2022. And this will help us fulfill our obligations to the construction contract and bring this construction contract to a 50-50 cost split again between local option sales tax and a DNR grant. So I would recommend approval of the grant amendment number 6 for the Turtle Creek flood control, Turtle Creek grant.
Council, anything? Questions, comments? If not, we need a resolution for number 11.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
She said
Con-
something.
Councilmember Helly,
I think she said aye, but
Aye. Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 12 is a resolution approving change orders to the Turtle Creek Flood Control Project. Once again, Mr. Lang.
So again, over the past couple of years, we've been working on the flood mitigation project along Turtle Creek. Originally, contract was awarded to Reiner Contracting in the amount of $4,883,280.67. Over the course of construction, we've identified changes in the design. It could be unexpected things or things that could be cost savings to the overall project. So as we're working through the project, we approve those change orders administratively. We had 4 change orders on the project, and then with those change orders, they have increased the actual contract amount up to $4,939,849.88. But then as we work through the construction, we have, on a project like this, we have probably 150 different pay items for the contractor, and we're measuring those quantities during construction. And through that process, we will have some bid items that we underrun the projected quantity, and we have other quantities that we overrun. Well, maybe throughout the course of the project, we'll decide that instead of paving just half of the roadway, let's go ahead and pave the entire roadway, and that way we have the entire project or the entire roadway completed for a longer term. Or we may find that we underrun maybe some seeding quantities or sod quantities. We disturb less area, so we have some underrun there. And when we balance all that out, on this project, we had more underrun of quantities than overrun. So our final contract amount comes in at 99% of the original contract. We're looking at a final contract amount to the contractor of $4,834,495.33. So that is a good thing, and that overall we came in under the original contract amount. So briefly, those different change orders that we looked at on this project, we had some wage rates that we needed to roll into the original project. We also had, for change order number 1, we had some sheet pile sealant and some lift station coatings that were eliminated from the cost, so there was some cost savings there. Change order number 2 was adding in a couple items that needed to be done as we got into the meat of the project with CLSM, which is a low slump material that's used on flood control projects. We also identified some sanitary sewer on 10th Place that needed to be upgraded as part of the project, and then some fence and some miscellaneous other work. Change order number 3 identified some cost savings by switching to a B oil in our asphalt pavement and also paying for some Austin Utilities costs that we will get reimbursed for here in the next couple months that Austin Utilities cost. Change order number 4 was the final one. At the very end of the project, we needed some additional topsoil, and we also needed to adjust some curb stops. So those are briefly what those change orders were that varied from the original contract. Again, with that recent grant amendment number 6 that you just approved, that will help bring this project to a 50-50 cost split with the DNR grant and also our local option sales tax. I've included, I know that many of you were not able to make it on a tour that we did, so I included a lot of construction photos for you to give you a visual of just the amount of work that occurred on the project. That, you know, what do you get for $4.8 million? You know, a lot of the infrastructure is buried, so you don't see it, but there is a great deal of earth and levee, sheet pile, modular block retaining walls, storm sewer, two pumping stations for when we need to pump the water. There's also a large retention pond that was constructed. So just trying to show you all that with a few photos, the extent of work that was done on this project. So with that, we would request council action to approve change orders 1 through 4 and the final contract amount, again, of $4,834,495.33.
Council, any questions or comments? If there are
Steven,
none,
I just wanted to compliment you and the team for the work that you've done. I mean, obviously a huge amount of work there. You know, I grew up a couple blocks from there and remember how bad the flooding used to be. And I know as you talk to residents in that area, one of the biggest things they would bring up was when do we get the flood control stuff? And so thank you for the work that you guys have done. I know it's made a really positive impact on that neighborhood and it looks great.
anybody else? If not, we need a resolution.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King. Councilmember King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 13 is a resolution accepting donations to the city of Austin. We need a resolution.
So move the
Is
resolution.
there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 14 is a resolution accepting a grant from the University of Minnesota Southeast Regional Sustainable Development Partnership Board. Mr. Clark.
Well, thank you, Mayor and members. This is really an effort that's born out of the Impact Austin, where we provided resources to them for a downtown coordinator. One of the goals outlined in that proposal was an enhanced farmers market. As a result of that, we applied for a grant through the University of Minnesota Extension and were awarded that grant in the amount of $11,343. It's essentially design services, facilitation services, working with the public to see what they have as interest in a new farmers market and other partners that were identified in the RSDP project proposal. I've included that as Exhibit 1 for your benefit. We received the letter from the University of Minnesota outlining the award and asking for if there's any concerns with the agreement, and as a result thought it was most appropriate to have council approve the grant award, and this work that they'll be doing really will serve as the basis for some other applications. There's both state and federal applications that we can make. This would help us have the best application to those entities as is possible. But our farmers market, we could talk quite a bit about that, but there's, I think, ample room for improvement of that. We have a kind of a sparse number of vendors currently. We really want it to be both a farmer's market and more of a community market and gathering space with food trucks and entertainment and the like, eventually maybe someday. So that's really the overall objective that we're trying to achieve in this initial step. Would just provide the design services of what the area would look like. It's on our flood acquisition property down by the river, just to the south of what we refer to as the Terp Ballroom. Otherwise, be happy to answer any questions. Mary Ann Duran is with Impact Austin. She's on the Zoom call this evening, and certainly would turn over to her for any comments or items that I missed in my presentation, and happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? Comments? If there are none, we need a resolution.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 15 is a resolution declaring the garage at 111 Fifth Avenue Northwest a hazardous structure. Any questions on this? Otherwise, we need a resolution.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your
All
Honor.
right. 16 is two motions granting the Planning and Zoning Department the power to contract for the removal of junk and/or illegally stored vehicles at the following location. A, 511 Fifth Avenue Northwest, the Welling property. We need a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0, Your Honor.
And B, 603 8th Street Northeast, the Erith property. We need a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin, Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have two additions now. 17 is a resolution approving an annexation agreement with Austin Township. Ms. Wallace.
Mayor and council members, we received a petition for annexation from Vicki Bjork. She owns 2605 4th Drive Southwest. She wishes to access city sewer. She currently has an on-site treatment septic system and weighed the pros and cons and wants to connect to city sewer as the most beneficial for her. This is a joint resolution, so this is also going to the Austin Township this evening. The major components of the resolution are that our taxes will change over to the city incrementally over a 6-year period. Sanitary sewer connection will be within 12 months. In this instance, she's hoping to do it still this fall. The property owner will pay sewer access fees, and the property will be zoned R1 single family residential, still being used as a residence, no changes.
Holly, this is just sewer, right?
Yeah, this is just sewer.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we need a resolution we need a resolution for 12.
17.
Or 17, I'm sorry, to approve or deny.
Move to approve.
To approve. All right, who is that?
Jason Baskin.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. And 18 is a resolution accepting a FAA grant and authorizing execution of the grant agreement. Mr. Lang.
A couple months ago, we presented to council a grant application for some work out at the airport. Generally, it consists of an easement over the armory vehicle storage area. And then along with that, it involves updating all of our mapping and associated work to account for this new easement in all of our layout drawings for the site. The grant work or different scope of work is all identified in the costs for the navigation easement acquisition, the fence relocation and design, and the administrative costs. In total, we had projected costs of $258,927.90. The federal grant that we received is in the amount, is drop off the 90 cents. So it's $258,927. This will be covered 100% with our FAA entitlement funds and CARES Act. So with that, there's some different key components. We've got the maximum grant obligation. It's for a period of 4 years. We have about 5 days here to execute the grant. It expires actually on September 14th if we don't sign it and get it back to them. And then there's other standard federal language in the grant. So we would request council approval of the grant and authorize the mayor and city attorney to execute the grant documents. And then in addition, if there are other construction documents, we would request that you authorize myself, the city engineer, to execute any necessary construction documents.
Thank you, Stephen. Council, do you have any questions or comments on 18? If not, we need a resolution.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. We're now to citizens addressing the council. I see a number of people are online. Does anybody wish to address the council on any issues? If not, we are to honorary council member Obal. I believe I see you there.
No,
No?
Dora.
Oh, Dora, I'm
Martinez.
sorry, it's Dora's turn. Dora, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
No, thank you.
Well, thank you. Sometimes you just have to sit and soak it in for a while. Other than that, we are to reports and recommendations.
Councilmember Fisher,
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Councilmember Baskin,
Nothing, Your Honor.
Councilmember Helly,
I just wanted to thank the Human Rights Commission for their work on Welcoming Week and encourage residents to look up the information on the Facebook page and participate in Welcoming Week. We happen to have a really great Human Rights Commission, and as a city and a community, there are others who look to us as an example, and this is one of the reasons why.
Thank you, Laura.
Councilmember Waller,
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Councilmember King,
Nothing, Your Honor.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Yes, we did have a Park and Rec Board meeting last week. We discussed some funds that we had set aside to work with placing a statue of the Hormel family, George and his wife and Jay, and group came to us to increase the funds. It's coming from the Lydia Lean money, and the Park and Rec Board did approve that.
Do you have locations you talked about, Jeff?
It's going to be down by the Mill Pond wall. They worked on a site with several people, including city engineer Stephen Lang, and it will be on a floating slab, and it'll be set up in such a way that it'll provide for photo opportunities for visitors. They can have their pictures taken with the Hormels.
What's a floating slab?
Well,
You don't know either. Okay.
ask Steven, I'm sure he knows.
Well, we'll ask, we'll get a little farther in the project before we get to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's all I have.
Mr. Clark?
Yes, the River Bend Townhome project that council approved, and they submitted an application to Minnesota Housing Finance Agency. We had anticipated that we'd hear back from them in December, but they do send out preliminary letters for those that don't advance further in the evaluation. Unfortunately, we did get one of those letters. Our project, you have to have a minimum of 70 points. They had 82 points as determined by Minnesota Housing Finance Agency, and previous awards historically have been in that 80 to 90 point range, so we were a bit on the bubble, but expected that in December we would still have at least a chance for approval. Unfortunately, from the letter that they'd sent, you needed a minimum of 114 points, so which demonstrates the demand that they'd seen. In order to qualify, those applicants would have to be 100% deep and low income instead of the 30% of area median income, or excuse me, instead of 60% of area median income, it would be capped at 30%. Preservation properties or supportive housing for at-risk homeless and additional local support. So that really, I think, takes it out of viability for us, and we're evaluating what other alternatives, but high demand from Minnesota Housing Finance Agency, as well as the forecasted lack of bonding funds is really playing into the possibility of a reapplication process for Southwest Minnesota Housing Partnership, who was our partner on that project. We did receive notice. Mr. Dankert reached out to Minnesota Management and Budget for our reported on CARES funding, and they told us that we'd submitted everything we needed to, so that's in the works. I suppose the only thing would be any kind of audit or our financial audit of the city that could raise any questions, but otherwise we're good on the reporting on our CARES funding, so that's good to have behind us, and otherwise that's all I have.
Any reports?
I don't believe so.
Okay, the only thing I'd like to add is Mr. Austin and myself attended. Obala invited us. I should have got a thing out to the council. I apologize for that. But a librarian community had a get-together out at Todd Park, and I just wish that ordinary citizens would have an opportunity to go to some of these things. It was just totally fun and just a very nice group of people, and I hadn't even realized we had a librarian community in town, but we do, and they're not real large, they're about 100, but they're very active, and what great people, and I totally enjoyed myself. Thank you, Obala, for the invitation, although Obala is not one of them. He's active in that community also. With that, we need a motion to adjourn till Monday, September 21st at 5:30 p.m. in council chambers.
So moved.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Fisher,
Aye.
Baskin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Waller,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can we do the work session right away or 5 minutes? We need 5 minutes and we'll start the work session.